Hey, welcome back, everyone. It's Kareem here today. We're talking about the difference between short and long form content and the purpose of all of them. Also, what's the difference? So, we do have short form content, which is considered under a minute. We have midterm, medium length content, which is considered a minute up to 15 minutes, about maybe 10. And then we have long form content, extra long form content, which is 15 minutes and over. So, what's the purpose of each? Well, really short form content these days is where you get the most views. So you want to use short form content to get people's foot in the door, or that's how people are introduced to you. In 2023, you'll get the most reach organically from short form content. Again, that's under a minute, and this would include things like Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, Twitter, TikTok. Now, the purpose of having short form content is to lead people into your long form content. When it comes to priming the pump, what we want is people to go through our funnel, as it were, of content on social media. So, not everybody who lands on your page is going to immediately become a buyer. So, when it comes to your content, you want to make sure that you have a range of each of them, but really you could probably cut out medium form content, although it would be easier to start with that. So short form content, you're going to start just to get people hooked with your hook in the first few seconds of the video, and just to try to get people to actually continue on down the funnel into your longer form content. Now, if we're talking about construction, contracting, short form videos might be things like before and afters. Those are some things you can get over pretty quickly. You could also do it yourself videos, and you can knock those out maybe in the full minute, maybe in the full 45 seconds, where you to basically just do it perhaps like a cooking video, where you to cut out all of the fluff, all of the in-betweens, and just show exactly how you did it. And then what you want to do in your medium form videos is then show a bit more of the process. In your long form videos, you're going to get down into the real nitty gritty. It might be an entire overhaul of how you do every single step and why you decided to do that. Now, this kind of content is incredibly useful because what you have is valuable content, and what you're going to have is people actually coming back to view more and more and more of it, especially if you have the shorts and they want to know what more goes into it and more details of it. They can actually go back and watch. Now, also, what you want to have the short form content for is all of them to connect back to your long form content. You want to have a lot of places like Instagram Reels, TikTok, your followers there pointing back to your long form content on places like YouTube, for instance. Now, the beauty of having long form content is that you get to show everything in the full depth and breadth, exactly what it is. So you don't have to cut everything, like maybe some of the ums and ahs. You can leave that in, like some of the filler material, but really the long form content is to actually give people a full view, full scope of what it is you do, who you are, your personality, your brand, your ethics, all of that things that goes into people ultimately making buying decisions and deciding that they want to have you be the person as their go-to. So there's a lot of competition, especially online, just generally in business. But when it comes to the online market, he who has video wins. Video wins because it's audio visual. It's not just me speaking words. It's not necessarily me reading, although we can't put subtitles on videos, but it's also having people visually see us, who we are, our company. If we're out on the job site, how we interact with customers, what kind of content they can look forward to in the future, what kind of content you even have in the past. If you've been doing it for a while, then you have the opportunity to do things like callbacks to old running jokes, things like that. It does make it a bit more entertaining, but at the same time, ultimately, it does lead people towards getting towards the goalpost of actually choosing you as their contractor as opposed to anybody else. Now, what you could choose to do is be number one on your niche in X category on YouTube, for instance. You could be the number one views, the number one subscribe to, the number one XYZ in your niche on YouTube. And that would actually be a very competitive goal to look forward to when you're starting out, at least. Or if you're already in there and you really have just been posting stuff here and there and you don't really know what the end goal should be. The goal, I say at least, should always be to be number one in whatever your niche is. If we're talking about roofing, if we're talking about plumbing, if we're talking about just construction in general, we're talking about new homes, we're talking about renovations, we're talking about remodeling, we're talking about mold remediation, fire, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, you may be able to give whoever is in the top spot now, whoever is getting the most attention and views and ultimately the most sales through the content strategy, a run for their money by actually just pumping out more content than they are and making higher quality content than they do. That said, this is Kareem. I help contractors get 10 leads or more a month, or you don't pay me a dime, guaranteed. Until next time, peace.